Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and this is 5 Fast Knife Reviews. Just a quick look at 5 knives and some, thoughts about them. I do have a first impressions on this knife, and they have the larger version. This is the small one, but they have this exact knife and a lot larger version as well. Very thin, or it's like 100 thousandths thick blade in VG10 with about 15 thousandths behind the edge. Fat carbon fiber, purple fat carbon fiber, and it is a flipper, but it is super thin, super slim, super sleek, deep carry clip. It's something you could put in your pocket and basically it'll look like a pen. Very minimal flipper tab. Good traction on the flipper tab though, so it is easy to flip. Very, very snappy. Can disengage it. It is on bearings. Now, this is kind of like a little bit of a letter opener style knife. Oh yeah, and KAVISO. I have it linked down in the description, guys. KAVISO is a site that carry all different kinds of knives. They're carrying Benchmades now. They carry a bunch of USA-made knives. They carry these, and you guys can find everything or a bunch of things on their site. They used to be Drop, but now it's KAVISO. So I do have a link for them down in the description. You can check them out. They have a ton of stuff on there, including these guys. But awesome little knife. Like I said, super snappy. It is a steel liner lock. The access to the liner, it's a little tight, but it offers you traction, so it's actually very easy to disengage. And I like this version a lot better than the CEO. And it has somewhat of a Japanese style tanto, or a traditional Japanese style tanto. It's basically a straight back, and it is a Burnley design. VG10 is perfectly fine for a knife like this. This is something you're going to be very light on, something, just to open up packages and get back in your pocket, somewhat of an office carry knife. And it looks good with a lot of style while you're at it. And the clip works really well, actually. Next is the Kizer Squidward. Now, 154 cm, ridiculously smooth. This thing is extremely fidgety for a little straightforward knife. It has this cool little schmitty on it for a lanyard that, I could take it or leave it, but it does look kind of cool hanging out of the pocket. And if you do like lanyards, that's a cool lanyard. Reversible deep carry clip with flat screws. The jimping on the front flipper is amazing because not only does it give you a good amount of jimping all the way around, but you see how the jimping goes up and around the top. So it makes it to where you can do all these little tricks with it very easily. And just doing it like this, it's almost like you're flipping a flipper, except for you're just going around. And it's very, very easy. One of the easiest knives I've ever found to do that on was this knife, the Squidward. Now the geometry, it's thin behind the edge, but it's kind of robust for how narrow of a blade it is. 16 thousandths behind the edge, but this is with the factory edge angle. Relatively thick blade stock, so it's not going to be a mega slicer or anything. But if all you're doing is opening packages and, cutting stuff here and there, maybe breaking down a little cardboard here and there, this will be just fine. It's not going to be a work knife. It's not anything like that, but it is a cool EDC knife. And another thing I really appreciate is how much room you have to disengage it. It's super easy to disengage, and you can see right there I'm hitting the detent ball. You can go past, and it is 100% fall shut. I mean, this thing is stupid smooth. It's like on another level of smooth, and it's still rock solid. It has those bearings in there with the internal stop pin where they take a little weight out from that side, and it puts all the weight on the blade end. Good looking drop point blade that is pretty narrow, kind of similar. It has similar geometry and style to like the Benchmade 940 in a way. And also this one you can roll all the way around and lock up. Some front flippers you have to flip them because if you roll them, you just can't get them to lock up once you get to this point. This one, it sticks out far enough where you can easily lock it up with a slow roll. They do have a couple different colors. I'll link everything down in the description. Next, a new one from Kansept, somewhat of a self-defense style knife. However, it's really cool. You can reverse flick it. It has a cool flipper tab that you can light switch or push button. 154 cm steel. And the name of this knife is the KTC3 by Coach Tools. And one thing I appreciate about this, it is kind of small. The handle is small. You can see I can get a full 4-finger grip, but because it gets thick right here. So since it gets thick, it's kind of like in your palm. It's something that if you were using it in a self-defense situation, you're not going to get it out of my hand. You'd have to fight to get it out of my hand because there's nothing to peel out from back here. It's inside the center of my palm, and it acts like a claw. You could use it in a reverse grip. I wouldn't, but you could. Has a dual ground 154 cm blade, and the dual grind makes it thinner up here, a little bit thicker down here. No, I don't like that. I'd prefer it to just be one thickness, but the thickness doesn't change dramatically, especially out behind the edge. And that's also why it's like, what's the point, right? But what I do really like about it is when I'm cutting with it. I was breaking down some cardboard a couple days ago, and when you're breaking down cardboard, the blade, especially in this front portion right here, gets caught in the cut. So you can do these extended cuts all the way through the cardboard without it slipping out. It traps itself into the cut. And then utility cuts. This little spot right there is so comfortable in this grip. So I can use it like a claw around a box, even in the pinch grips, you know, for opening things up and breaking down cardboard. This thing works great. And it's hard to appreciate without getting it in your hand and actually using. But it's a really useful blade shape that works great for regular EDC stuff. Now for like camping and things like that, no, it's probably not going to be your best blade shape. But for actual everyday carry use, you know, cutting straps, opening boxes up, packages, breaking down cardboard, things like that, it's going to work really, really good. The action's really good. The detent, nice solid detent. You do have a double fuller here, so you can reverse flick downward or up top where it's a little bit stiffer. And then the flipper tab's nice and comfortable. Very snappy action. Easy to slow roll. It is on bearings, and it does have a cool clip that actually works pretty well. Now, it's not, or no, I'm sorry. I apologize. It is a titanium spoon clip that normally I'm not a big fan of the ball clips, but in this case, it makes a bigger area, and it's not crazy tight under there, so it actually works really good. So it's a cool looking clip, comfortable in the hand for the most part. You know, like I said, it is small in the hand, but that's purpose driven. It's supposed to be small in the hand, you know. All right, next. Now, this one I recently got, the Kansept Entity. I'm really liking this one. Holy cow. It is so smooth. The flipper tab and the action, the detent is strong. This thing kicks. I mean, it kicks like a horse, and I like it. Yet it's still very, very smooth. The lock bar, super comfortable. And I always say this, you know, how a knife disengages, you know, really makes a knife feel premium or not. It's very comfortable to disengage, extremely smooth on the drop. The Kansept Entity uses S35 VN on the blade. Now, it has two different blade shapes. This one is the drop point. Now, they have a straight clip point with a full flat grind. This one has a saber grind with a drop point. I prefer the drop point, but like I said, there is two different versions. Titanium frame lock. Inside these holes is polished. Looks pretty cool. Then it has a beautiful pivot ring. Now, my one complaint is the clip. It is a steel bent over budget clip in my opinion. It works okay. The problem is when I slip it in the pocket, which it works fine in the pocket, but once your pocket gets to those screws, at times it kind of catches and you have to kind of get it up over that hump under or over the top of the screws. I don't like that. Is it okay? Am I that mad at it? No, it's fine. It looks more ugly than anything. I'm sure there's a clip I could find to match up this spot, but with the traditional clip that it has on there, yeah, it doesn't look the best. And like I said, it kind of hangs up right there. Now, where it does kind of shine is because it is a deep carry clip and it's relatively easy to get in and out of the pocket, you know, aside from maybe getting over those screws a little bit, which doesn't slow you down too much. But in the hand, it's actually well thought out. This poon is super comfortable. Oh, this is a comfortable grip. The ergos just melt in your hand, and then the clip actually, it's like it's well thought out where it was positioned, because where it lands in your hand, it nestles right in this spot and comes out of an area where you don't feel these corners at all. Like, it's perfect where it's just positioned exactly where you'd want it to not feel it. You don't really have the opportunity to go like this because the flipper tab is kind of big, but you don't really need to, because when you're choked up, you're pretty close to the edge anyways. Nice finger guard, somewhat of, and I'm not saying it's a tactical knife, but you know, it is somewhat of a feel of a tactical knife in a way. Steel lock bar insert, over travel stop, all the bells and whistles and good stuff. Action is amazing, stupid smooth, really, really good knife. And it's a good looking knife. It just has a really good look to it. Titanium milled back spacer. There's the designer's logo. Let's get to the last one. Now, the last one we're going to talk about really quick, and that is the Hogue Deka in Magnacut. And I'm going to go through this really quick because, you know, the Hogue Deka is an awesome knife. I do love the knife. And I actually love the sound this one makes. Listen to this sound. It almost has a finger snapping sound. Now, this one's in Magnacut, and that's what I want to talk about really quick. FRN, extremely lightweight. It feels like I could just snap it in half, like a lot of flex. You know, it's FRN, right? FRN. So it's supposed to be somewhat of a tough lock, lightweight, very, very lightweight EDC knife. Something you'll forget you have in your pocket because it holds no weight, and it's a full-size knife still, right? Super tough steel, good edge retention, amazing corrosion resistance, all that good stuff as long as it's heat treated correctly. Now, is Hogue heat treating it correctly? I don't know. Now, shout out to Not Your Average EDC, Erica. She did send this along for me to check out, so I am going to give it a little test, and I'm going to see what I think about Hogue's Magnacut. Now, I'm not going to remove a bunch of steel from this. It's not my knife. But I'm going to, you know, give it a good sharpening at the very least, and then start testing its edge. I'm going to see how it feels on the stone, see how it sharpens up, see the kind of edge it takes, see if it takes a similar edge to some of the good Magnacut I've tested, or see if it takes an edge more like the lower grade Magnacut that I've tested, or the lower grade heat-treated Magnacut I've tested. And then, you know, maybe I'll do a little, somewhat of a controlled cut test to see how it holds. Now, if that's a video you guys would like to see, let me know down in the comments if you've made it this far. But the knife itself, I do love the Deka. I think it's a great knife. I think most people, if you really want a lightweight EDC or just a good full size, well, it's not even that big of a knife, but it's more of a medium size knife, medium to small size knife, but it's a full size knife basically. You get two different blade shape offerings, so you get this somewhat of a Wharncliffe utility style blade shape with a dual grind, or you can get the clip point / drop point blade shape that they offer, which is awesome. Now, the regular version comes in 20 CV for like right around $140 something or something like that. That's a phenomenal deal. So great knife. I think anybody looking for a knife right around that price range, this is a great one. USA made, good materials, especially the other one because it has G10. I don't know why they didn't go with G10 on this one instead of the FRN, but they did. And but either way, the biggest part about this one is the Magnacut, and that's what I want to test. Nice thin blade, not a super thin behind the edge knife. Let's see what this one is actually, really quick before we get out of here. 20 thousandths behind the edge, and the thinner area, 22 thousandths in the thicker area. I don't even know why they did the dual grind. We have 22 thousandths here, 20 thousandths here. Is it necessary? No, but it is what it is. Really thin, slim, very, very light knife. Now the G10 one's not going to have all the flex like this one, and will be a little bit heavier. But anyways, there you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.